So you want hot water in your van, do you? Don't we all? This video is going to give you a few little tips and tricks when you're installing your water heater in the van. This is my fourth iteration water heater going into my van builds. I started out with an isotemp barrel style. And the reason I chose that is it's a reputable company, and the barrel style is the most efficient at heating the hot water, making the hot water. Then I switched over to the isotemp slim, which is a very tall, slender water heater. Not as efficient in making the hot water, but very efficient in space allocation. It fit into my floor plans quite well, much better than the barrel style. No problems with those heaters. Everything was working hunky-dory. I also had a separate Webasto furnace, either diesel or gas-fired furnace for cabin heat. Then the AquaHot came out. The AquaHot was an all-in-one system that made your hot water and put your cabin heat throughout in zones with cozies. A really good concept. So I put 3 of those in my van builds, and while they were very effective when they were working, there were some inherent little design issues that caused them to fail. As I said, I put in 3. One of my clients had 3 separate issues with her system. That's enough for me to say I have to look elsewhere. I do not want those kinds of issues with any of the equipment I put in my van builds. I want my customers to be happy. I want a smile on their face. Whale is a very reputable British company, very popular and well known in the boating world. These things are in all the yachts on the water, as are most of the appliances and components I put in my vans for power, heat, water, etc. So this Whale 600 is a 6-gallon water heater, and it has a couple of things I want to go over with you. This is a trial and error situation that I went through, and I'm hoping to save you a little bit of heartache with your installs. The basic concept is don't hard pipe to the water heater, okay? In other words, you're gonna start out, here's one that just came out of the box, here's one that I have assembled ready to install. The first thing you're gonna do with it, or any water heater for that matter, is you're most likely gonna have to thread in a nipple or some type of a fitting that you would put opener or a hose barb on, okay? Don't hard pipe opener right to the unit, because if you have to replace or repair, it's going to be very difficult. So I start with a 2-inch nipple that goes in, and I have to tell you that when I do any threading, brass, okay, any threading at all in my plumbing, I use tape and thread locker, thread sealer. I use both. I put the tape on first, and then I use the thread sealer. MPT, so it's a tapered fitting, so it gets tighter as you tighten it up, and it locks down. So you want to put in your nipples first, okay? This is the supply from my water pump, or as I say it, my manifold. Okay, what I do is I make a four circuit manifold coming off the fresh tank. Water pump pumps it here. So you've got cold water sink, cold water shower, cold water, hot water feed, and my Activa, which is my UV filtered water for drinking and cooking. So these are the 4 zones for cold water. Again, cold water sink, cold water shower, cold water feed to the water heater, and then my Activa for drinking UV water. Now, if you see what I have here, I've got a stainless steel flex line, service line, okay, with a shutoff valve. Basically, I will put a shutoff valve at this manifold so that each of these zones can be isolated individually if they need to be for a failure, and it doesn't impact the rest of the system. You can still go on your way and just shut off that one failed zone, okay? So you can see these types of valves. You can get these at any plumbing store. As it turns out now, Home Depot is carrying PEX A There's PEX A, there's PEX B. A company called Apollo. The brand is Apollo. I don't know how good it is. I prefer to go to a plumbing supply store. Around here in New Jersey, we have Ferguson, which is excellent. We've got Ferguson stores up and down the state. I don't know if they're regional or nationwide. So if one of you knows the answer to that question, put it in the comments for our community so they can track that down. But yeah, I like to buy my plumbing equipment and materials and fittings from a plumbing supply. I think they're a little better quality. Now, I have to preface, this is PEX A. This is Upener PEX A. I prefer the PEX A crimping. You know, these are stretch collars. You can blow these pipes up and they don't burst. They go right back down to where they were. PEX B doesn't do that. PEX B does not stretch as much as PEX A, and you've got those metal crimps. This is a little more user-friendly. The tool is expensive. Upener fittings, very specific, nothing like PEX, not to be confused with PEX. Propex tubing. Your collars or your sleeves go on the end of the tubing, okay? And there's a stop, there's a couple of little stops on here, so you can only push it on so far. See this? It's like a little plastic collar. Only goes on one way and it stops. You can't mess it up. Now there's a tool made specifically for Upener fittings. See that? Here's how this works. You need to put two PEX tubes together. Here's what you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You spread it, you push the fitting on, and it compresses around the fitting. That's it. It's done. It's not going to leak. The fittings have these two little stop barbs, and that's how you know how far to put the fitting into the connection. It's not coming out. It's in, and it spins, and it won't leak. Upener. But it's worth it. So, you feed the water heater with one of these service lines connected with a nipple, okay? Now your water's coming in. Going out, again, don't hard pipe. What I use are these swivel fittings, okay? Here's one right here. Why am I taking that one off? I got one here in my bag of tricks. This is a PEX A Upener swivel fitting, okay? My PEX half-inch goes on here. So my hot water is coming out of here, cold goes in, gets heated through the heat exchanger or the electric element, hot water comes out the other end. Then I have a 3-zone hot water manifold. So the hot comes out, goes into the manifold. Hot sink, hot shower, extra. I cap it off. So on this end, you're using a swivel connector, nipple swivel connector. What I like about these is they obviously come on and off very easily, and you can have your exit angle any which way. And that's going to make a big difference when you install in your van. It's one thing to place the heater where you want it. It's another to see where you want to have that exit angle for your next pipe coming out. Now, I do come out with Upener, and I can take my Upener to another manifold, which I spoke about, with my shutoffs. But this comes off. If I ever have to replace this water heater, or there was a problem here, these two, just take them right off with a wrench or by hand, as you see me doing here. You can take the whole heater out. Okay, now you've got all your water connections made. Now we got to heat the water. How do we heat the water? There is a heat exchanger inside these units. It's at the bottom of the unit. And what I mean by heat exchanger is these two ports here are for glycol. antifreeze, coolant, whatever you want to call it. So from your van engine, the glycol comes back in this side. It goes through some pipes to heat the water, and then it exits here and goes back to your van. These units are typically mounted somewhere in the back of the van, okay? There's no way in the world I'm going to send engine coolant under the van in a heater hose all the way to the back and then up into the van, into here, and then send it back, okay? My customers, my clients take these vans where nobody's got any business taking a van, okay? I worry about sharp rocks, stumps, whatever is going to happen on the road. If something were to come up while you're driving and cut that coolant line, you lose all your engine coolant. You cannot drive the vehicle. You are now disabled on the side of the road. So what I do is I install my own separate isolated heat exchanger. Okay, this is a smaller version, but the concept is the same as what's inside the water heater. The engine glycol comes in this side, passes through a chamber and out this side. My glycol comes in this side, passes through a chamber and out this side. So what I'm doing is I'm installing this heat exchanger as far forward as I can so that my lines that go from the engine coolant to this are short as can be, and they're protected. They're not running the length under the van. Okay, my glycol lines are running the length under the van. If one of them were to get cut by a sharp rock, you just lose your ability to make hot water with the glycol, but the motor's still running, everything's fine, you're on your way. But you can still make hot water with the electric element, 120 volt. So there's redundancy, belt and suspenders, okay, that's my way. Tape and thread locker, belt and suspenders. We don't have issues. High heat, use a high heat thread sealer. All right, so my system. What I do is I have a reservoir of glycol. Now this is going to be like a 3 or 4 part series on the water system in a van. I have my little 1 gallon reservoir of glycol, antifreeze, coolant, whatever you want to call it. It drops out of the reservoir and head pressure. Head pressure is gravity. It's basically the reservoir is higher than the water heater and higher than the heat exchanger. This has got to be the highest point in your whole system. So gravity will take this all the way down to the heat exchanger at the front of the van, where it picks up the heat and comes back. It goes in the water heater, heats the water, comes out, and returns to my reservoir. Okay, you see that? It's a closed loop system. Yeah, there's a line running to and back under the van. Like I said, if it gets cut, this is all we lose. We lose our glycol. Your engine is still running. Now, here's the thing. When this glycol goes all the way down to the front of the van and picks up the heat, now it's got to come all the way back through here and then up to the highest point. Gravity's not going to do that. So you're going to have to install a little 12 volt water pump, okay? Bosch water pump. Now when I say water pump, this is designed to pump glycol, 200 degree antifreeze, okay? No worries there. So I put this pump after the heat exchanger on the way back. So head pressure, which is gravity, takes me all the way down and through the heat exchanger. Then it trickles out this way. The pump picks it up, pushes it through my water heater, makes hot water, puts it back into the reservoir. Closed loop system, okay? I'm going to show you that install in the next video. This one is basically very simple concept. Don't hard pipe to your water heater. Make sure that you can always wrench off your connections. Same thing with your heater hose. These are going to be hose clamps, so they can come off. If you're going to have to remove those, you want to get a hose pinch. It's like a set of scissor locks. I should show you. Hold on. I'm back. Okay, if you did have to do any hose swap outs and you don't want the glycol spilling out, you get these hose clamps. You pinch down on the hose and you lock it. Now see, that pinches your glycol and it won't come spilling out when you pull the hose off. So these are certain tools that you're going to need if you want to do your van work properly. I mean, it makes sense for me because I'm doing multiple vans every year. If you're doing one build, it's going to be a little hard for you to justify purchasing all these tools. Very inexpensive, all the way up to expensive with your opener tools. That's your call. But you know that if you have the right tool for the job goes a lot smoother. Another thing you want to look at, this heater comes with this cheesy little overflow hose. So I replace that with a nice 1/2 inch. So you've got a pressure release in case it gets too hot, pressure climbs too high. This valve will release at a specified pressure. So you have to run this out of the van to the ground. So through a hole in the floor, somewhere in front of this heater, I put a 4-inch hole, okay? I've got 2 3/4 inch heater hoses that go down through that floor, okay? 2 of those, you got 1 of these. What else do we have? Oh, a drain. Here's a hose. This is garden hose thread. So this is a drain valve. If you want to empty the water tank completely, you use this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 hoses that pass through that hole. Once I get them all through the hole, and again, I will show you, I fill that hole with a sealant and I put a boot on the underside with a Velcro tie. So no critters get in, no cold air gets in. I'll show you that in the next video. What else? I think I covered it. All right, let me open the door and let the guys in to get to work.